My origin and entry into kind of student voice work was actually in the student voice scholarship field. And I'm very excited to say that some of the scholars that I cited and everything in my dissertation have put together an awesome student voice toolkit. And so we're going to dive in. It's way too big to explore in one video, and maybe I'll break it apart. But for now, I just want to give you a brief orientation to the resources that are there for you within the space. So let's get in the description. This is what you're going to come to, the Student Voice Toolkit page. This is from the Search Institute, and there's a ton of tabs here. So intro to how to use the toolkit, defining student voice section, lots of great people. I had just had Dr. Dina Mitra on the podcast. I have cited Dr. Drew Connor's work as well. This is just lots of cool stuff. Student voice practices. So if you see an SVP abbreviation in here, it's student voice practices. And then we have student voice readiness. So this is a kind of rubric to figure out if you have the enabling conditions in place to support student voice in a meaningful way. This here is a range of student voice activities that you can use in the classroom. Here are student voice practices and figuring a list of kind of areas for improvement where you can figure out what to do in your school. And then here is the student voice to student outcomes survey. So you get to measure the presence of student voice in your classroom and school using a statistically validated and reliable survey instrument. I'll also link to my statistically validated and reliable survey instrument in the description as well. I feel like I've referenced that. So if you do want both, you can kind of pick and choose or use them. Ideally, you're using them kind of as they are. There's a ton of additional resources here as well. So let's just click into one of these. I'll show you what it's like. Okay, student voice readiness. So here's our assessment, kind of defining a lot of terms. So we have the mindsets piece, and barriers. So adultism, for example, is a common barrier. Hard sets are kind of relational pieces. We need to make sure that teachers are empowered. We need to make sure that we have all of these pieces. Skill sets, they have listed 4, so kind of lack of capacity, skills, data conceptualization, and responsiveness. And then we go back up to the top here. You can see these right across the top. So you have the student voice framework. So you can see kind of there's structures, there's 4 structures, the setting where it's happening, the focus, so what's the kind of policy that you're intending to influence, the intent, why are you doing this, like who's supposed to benefit, and also the degree of change expected. Like, are you actually expecting a change? Are you just kind of doing this as an activity that doesn't expect there to be implementation, to like kind of check the listening box, so to speak? And then the methods or tools used to engage. And then relationship-wise, we have access. So who can access this? Is it just the students who get A's? Representativeness, so how aligned is the kind of intended beneficiaries and the students who are actually participating? So again, is it just the students who are getting A's? Roles, the level of leadership and initiative that students have. Are they the leaders? Are they just participants? Are they true collaborators with adults in the space? And then responsiveness. So do adults actually come back and inform students like, we did this thing, here's the next step, like your voice influenced this. And, also if we can't do it, like here's why we're not following up. So there's kind of a bunch of information here. All the recommended citations are also at the bottom of these pages. Student voice in school. So here are all the student voice kind of practice resources that you could reference here. There is a self-assessment tool that I'll just ping really quickly for you. So here we have kind of that framework of students' roles or kind of how they're engaging. They could speak, they're providing input or feedback. They could lead, they're making actual decisions on school improvement efforts. They could collaborate where they're partnering with adults on school improvement efforts. And then you can see also, right, this idea of those other pieces, availability, access, intent, and responsiveness that we went over. So there's a little bit of context here. There's a success story. And you could see here is kind of like a score where it doesn't exist, it's emerging, it's embedded for each of these. So you can see this is all the categories for speak, and you could see the 4 criteria. We'll go to lead, the 4 criteria. So there's like a little rubric language. Okay. Let's go student voice in the classroom. Here, I think this is the one that has all of the voice practices. So there's a bunch of guidance. Oh yeah, and then here's all the resource collection. So I'm just gonna click into like pedagogy, for example, and you could see like 3 pedagogical like examples of what you could do. So you could download the activity for a picture essay, right? So picture essay being a different modality for students to explain and share their experience and their desires around how the classroom should be or how they experience the classroom. There is also a State of Student Voice Practices in Schools survey, so you can go ahead and download that guide as well. So figuring out, right, how the survey was developed and all of that good information is there. And then you can download the guide. Here we go. What the survey measures. Let's just scroll down here. So school level student voice practices. So access to school level voice activities. Here's the sample item. Students serve on committees with adults, right? Opportunities. So students give ideas about how to improve our school. Responsiveness, participation, and then classroom wide. What does that look like for the class? So, do any of these happen at your school? Yes or no? So a very simplistic, it's interesting. I had many of the same kind of measures on my survey, but this is such a more simplified, is there a presence of it or not, right? Maybe we don't need the complexity of a scale that is, 4 to 6 points, whatever it was. You might just want like a yes or no. So do those exist? Does this happen? Okay, you do use a 4-point scale here. And then responsiveness, you actually get to like kind of come back, participation, and then classroom level. Okay, so you can scroll through all of this. I'm not going to show you all these pieces, but I do want to name, this is all here for you. Tons of cool student voice practices resources. Go grab them, implement them, and let us know.